Hello and welcome. And yes, I am Dr. Suzanne Brown, and you've just heard a little bit about me. For the last 14 years, I've been training and working in psychology. And for the last several years, I've had the great privilege of working with some of the greatest athletes in the UK and further afield. So I'm going to share with you what I share with them about our emotional fitness. And a spoiler is in the title in that it begins from the inside out. So, as a clinical psychologist, I am fascinated by the human mind and body. I have come to realize we truly are embodied, the mind and body connected. But we have all of these incredible systems that happen completely outside of our awareness. So, from our cardiovascular system to our respiratory system, our immune system to our nervous system, reproductive and digestive, and on and on. All of these systems working together, designed for your survival and your growth. But time and time again, whenever I look into these systems, they always miss out a vital one that influences all of the rest. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Our emotional system has been designed through evolution. It is honed and selected to move you towards what it is that you desire and to keep you away from what's going to cause you harm or pain. So all of these emotional systems that have been curated over millions of years really are essentially about evoking motion. That is what emotion stands for. And you can see here that it really comes from the Latin to mean to agitate, to stir up. That is what emotion does. It mobilizes us, and it carries vital sources of information designed to move you towards something. But let's be honest, right? Because in our society and in our culture, I think this is more likely. We tell ourselves and we tell others in subtle or maybe explicit ways that we should lock up our feelings, that we should bury them deep within us, and we should definitely leave them at the door when we come to the office. But when we do that, we prolong our suffering and we cause so much more pain. Because when we do suppress our system, what I've seen is that humanity carries some universal truths. So either you go numb, you become detached, zombie-like, meandering through life without direction. Or maybe you increasingly turn to external ways to self-medicate, whether that's alcohol, drugs, overworking, gambling, and other addictions. Or maybe you explode, and that might be outward and upward, but more often than not, it's inward, and we end up destroying ourselves from the inside out. So many people come into my clinic and tell me that they feel lost. They don't know where they're headed. And I say to them, well, of course, when you cut off access to your feelings, you cut off the ability to know where you're headed. And so what do we do when we are lost? We turn to a map, right? A map is about movement. It tells you where you are, where you're going, and what to avoid. So I want to let you know, you actually have an internal navigation system. And so I created this map, which includes all of our core emotional systems and the common ways that we end up trying to avoid them. We call these defenses. So whether that's minimizing our feelings, whether it's suppressing them, whether it's just distracting ourselves. And I also created a map of anxiety, because in my experience, this is so commonly misunderstood. Anxiety refers to physical manifestations of symptoms ranging from healthy, as you can see in the green level, all the way through to paralyzing in the red. Now, these anxiety systems are really a communication to you that feelings that you have become afraid of are being stirred up inside of you. And we're going to talk about these emotional systems together today. So we're going to dive right in and talk about love and attachment, because we have two fundamental drives that we are born with, that are there and exist within us right from birth. The first is the need to connect and belong. So often this is with our parents or our family, and then later this forms the template for our relationships. But the other opposing need that actually doesn't get spoken about as much is our need to be separate, our need to be an individual, to have autonomy. And when I speak to groups, most often what they tell me is that they sacrifice one for the other. Either they abandon who they are and they give up their sense of individuality to make sure that they belong in the group, secure their place, or they're so frightened about doing that that they keep people at a distance. They don't let people get close to them. So, what is it that you can do to increase this in your life and in your company?